Hello. I'm with the Reverend Beth Ely, who is the regional priest for the South region here in our diocese. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, glad to be here.
Back in the early 90s, when I was a parish priest and was training lay Eucharistic ministers, as we referred to them then, I used a resource entitled A Manual for Lay Eucharistic Ministers. Well, lo and behold, the author of this manual that I used back in the 90s is here in the Diocese of North Carolina, and I'm standing with her. Beth wrote this. Why did you write it?
I originally wrote it because it was a new ministry within the church, and there were no materials to help us train people to do this ministry.
So it includes information on Eucharistic ministers and Eucharistic visitors?
Yes. Originally, the title of the ministry was Lay Eucharistic Minister. That ministry, over the years, has changed names and a little bit of the rules, and so it's now called Eucharistic Visitors. But it is the same ministry, and that is the ministry of taking the Eucharist from the church service out into the community to those members of the church who could not be at the service.
And you provide both background on that ministry and even practical how-tos.
Right, how to set up, how to conduct the service that the National Church has given us for this ministry, how to minister to the people that you're visiting pastorally, and then how to manage your own spiritual life and practice if this is a ministry that you feel God is calling you to.
Now, Beth, this cover looks different than the one that they're selling now. Why?
Yes, it does. This is the original cover when it was first published in 1991. But General Convention periodically sort of changes the parameters and the rules of the ministry canonically. So with each change, I've done an updated revision, an addition, and there was another one in between, and then there's the one now, which is called A Manual for Eucharistic Visitors, because they even changed the ministry name.
And it's in many languages?
It's in many languages. It's sold all over the world. And I have heard that Lutherans and Roman Catholics also use my book, even though it's an Episcopal book.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you come about writing it?
Well, I was studying at General Seminary, and I was sent out to a church to do my internship, and they said, great, you can train our lay Eucharistic ministers. And I said, where are the resources? And they said, oh, there aren't any, just make it up. And so I realized that something needed to be written for the church. And since I had been a writer and reporter in my previous life before seminary, I eventually wrote it as my honors thesis in seminary.
There are a number of liturgical changes in the history of the church that have been transformative. I think back on the peace, the introduction of the peace way back when. I think the baptismal covenant.
Yeah.
But I would also suggest that Eucharistic ministers and visitors, empowering the laity to carry the sacrament from the altar to the homes of God's people.
Well, certainly they're the recovery of a sacramental ministry that the laity had early on in the church that we lost because we got so clerical.
Yes.
You know, that only the clergy could touch and distribute the Eucharist. And this has given it back into the hands of lay people who certainly are, many of them, called to do this ministry.
This is an incredible resource, and the author is right here in our diocese. Information for how you can purchase this book, the new editions of this book, will be included with this edition of Please Know.
Yes, thank you.
Beth, thank you for this ministry.
Appreciate it, Bishop.
A Manual for Lay Eucharistic Ministers by Beth Ely.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.